Welcome to the Meditation Nest. Here, bedtime stories become gentle meditations designed to help your thoughts unwind as you slow the tempo of your life and embrace the night ahead. I invite you to slow your breath, soften your thoughts, and find peace as you listen. This is your time to rest, reflect, and dream. Welcome to the fort. Years after leaving his hometown, a man named Tom returns to the quiet lane where he once spent summer days building a secret perch in the woods. What he finds there and how he tends it will teach him something about endurance, belonging, and the way home lives quietly inside us all. Let tonight's tale calm your body, steady your breath, and invite your mind toward rest. Cuddle up, and let's begin. The lane looked more narrow than he remembered. Old oaks arched across it, their branches thick with new leaves, light filtering through in soft, shifting patterns. The air smelled faintly of rain and earth warmed by a sun. In the distance, a lawnmower hummed, a domestic kind of sound, neither intrusive nor far away. Tom parked near the curve where the asphalt loosened into gravel. He sat for a moment before stepping out, breathing in the particular scent that only hometowns seem to hold. A mixture of cut grass, brick dust, and time. Through the trees, he could still trace the narrow path that once led to his childhood fort. It began as a worn line in the grass at the end of the cul-de-sac, then disappeared between two towering maples. Beyond that, the world had always felt enormous. He walked slowly, hands sliding into his jacket pockets, letting his shoes make their quiet rhythm on the loose stones. Every few steps, the light changed. Now dappled, now open, as if memory of morning and late afternoon were taking turns guiding him forward. The path curved once, then opened into the small clearing at its heart. And there it was. The tree still stood, thicker now, bark ridged and darkened. The fort he had built with his closest friend, David, crouched against the trunk about 10 feet up, weathered but holding. Boards rough with age, nails rusted to a warm copper hue. The crudely built ladder had long ago collapsed, now in a vine-covered heap below the perch. Yet the fort itself appeared stubborn and decent. Tom exhaled sharply, a sound somewhere between a sigh and a laugh. He tilted his head back, taking in the branches that stretched above like an open umbrella. The fort looked fragile and resolute all at once. much like the man staring up at it. He walked around to the back and, much to his surprise, found the old rope ladder they'd tied to the back side of the structure, serving as an escape plan in the event thieves or pirates discovered them. Its frayed ends tangled among roots and leaves. He tugged gently. The strands still answered with a patient creak, the kind of resilience that comes from simply existing long enough. He gave another solid tug and decided to climb. Each wooden rung groaned under his weight, but held him. The boards around the platform flexed ever so slightly, the smell of aged pine lifting into the afternoon. He ducked under the low rail and into the faded square of space that had once felt as large as the world. It was smaller than he remembered, forcing him to crouch. The corners still bore initials carved by hands much younger than his own. His fingers traced the markings. A T in one corner, a D in the other, uneven and proud. On the solid wall to the right, a nail held the remains of an old blue ribbon, now bleached gray and feathered by weather. It fluttered faintly in the cool breeze. He leaned against the now much wider tree trunk in the center of the fort and let the moment sink through him. Wind moved through the canopy, coaxing a conversation between branches. The leaves answered with a constant, low flutter, like 1,000 gentle whispers, each one carrying a faint memory. The noise of years away, the cities, the travel, the narrow apartments with walls painted too bright, drifted off a little at a time. Here the air spoke in its own, older language. He realized how long it had been since he listened to something that asked nothing of him. He would rebuild the fort, he decided, not the way it had been, and not as it might have been had he never left, but as a quiet gesture of care toward every version of himself that ever sat in this tree and believed it could hold weight. He smiled a slow, private smile. Then he closed his eyes for a moment and simply listened. The branch underneath him swayed in a rhythm both ancient and alive. And for the first time in many years, he felt fully at home. He had brought along a tape measure to capture dimensions of varying pieces of the fort that may no longer match the stability of the main platform. Tom returned the next morning with a small toolbox, a length of rope, wooden planks cut in various lengths, and an old flannel folded under his arm. The air carried a faint chill, touched with dew that glimmered across every blade of grass. Birds had begun their measured chorus, a rhythmic rise and fall that felt both endless and present. He paused at the edge of the clearing, looking up into the branches as the first sunlight reached through them. The fort waited, patient and unchanged, its worn edges almost glowing in the new light. Climbing felt easier this time, familiar, like regaining a language he hadn't spoken in years. When he reached the platform, he set down the tools and took a slow breath. The smell of damp wood mixed with the clean, sharp scent of pine resin. He felt it settle into him, steadying his pulse. He began by removing the crumbling railing along the back of the fort. Each nail loosened with quiet respect. Pieces fell to the ground with soft thuds, no louder than footsteps in sand. He worked by touch as much as sight, the rhythm of unscrewing and smoothing edges becoming its own kind of meditation. Restoration, he realized, was not the same as recreation. He wasn't trying to return to something lost. He was noticing what had endured and choosing to tend it. Now and then he rested, leaning back against the trunk, listening to the wind shift through the leaves. The sound carried stories, distant laughter of a boy shouting to his friends below, the echo of a hammer striking nails too long ago to measure. The fort had heard so many seasons. Spring rain, summer storms, the creak of frozen branches. It had kept all those sounds, the way the heart keeps small memories, unpolished but alive. Tom reached for a new board and fit it into place beside the old beams. The grain ran close to the same pattern, younger but aligned. Together they formed something whole, past and present, side by side, each strengthening the other. He worked that way through the morning until his shirt clung to him with a thin sheen of effort. Sweat carried the aroma of sawdust and sun-warmed bark. When he finished one section, he sat back to admire the quiet symmetry. The fort neither new nor old. He laid the hammer down and closed his eyes. What he felt then was more than satisfaction. It was relief. Each swing of the tool had released something he hadn't realized he had been holding. The weight of years gone too fast. The silent ache of things left behind. A breeze stirred, cooler now, threading through the open spaces where new wood met aged frame. It sounded like a sigh of approval. Below him, soft light turned the clearing gold. A few leaves drifted down and caught on the air before resting along the path. Everything shimmered with quiet proof that life continued. Tom smiled. He thought of the homes he'd lived in since leaving. Small apartments, borrowed rooms, temporary addresses written on envelopes from another version of himself. Each had given shelter, yet none had offered the stillness and quiet comfort of this simple wooden perch. He ran a hand across the newly smoothed plank and let the roughness under his fingers remind him of every place he'd ever felt safe. Maybe home wasn't a fixed location after all. Maybe home was the act of care itself, the rebuilding, the tending, the moment of choosing to keep something standing. As the day lengthened, sunlight thinned into amber. Shadows grew tall between the trees. He packed away his tools, but left the ladder tied in place, as if inviting someone, anyone, to climb up, just to see the world from its gentle height. Before leaving, he placed a hand flat on the trunk of the tree. The bark was warm beneath his palm, strong and alive. He whispered a quiet thank you to the tree, to the younger version of himself, and to the years that had carried him here. Above, a few leaves rustled, as if answering him. The sound was small, but it reached deep. Tom stepped down slowly, his knees now stiff, but his heart lighter. Behind him, the fort stood steady in the fading light, an old promise made new again. Evening drew across the valley with the calm certainty of something practiced. Tom returned to the fort, climbed up and sat again, enjoying a now sturdier surface beneath him, the scent of fresh pine blending with the older fragrance of bark and soil. He had built a sturdy wooden ladder for the front opening, making the fort more easily climbable than it had been in his youth. Shadows stretched between the trees, long and translucent. The sunlight that remained turned copper as it filtered through the high leaves. The air had cooled. A faint breeze circled around the clearing, touching each corner as if checking that everything was in its place. Tom sat at the edge of the back entry and let his legs dangle from the ledge, toes brushing the emptiness above the forest floor. A robin called somewhere beyond sight. The sound echoed, gentle and precise, fading into the distance. He breathed deeply and allowed the quiet to fill every part of him that had been crowded all day. Each exhale left more room for gratitude. The boards around him creaked in slow rhythm, wood adjusting to the cool night air. The tree shifted under his weight, alive in its patience. It had been through storms, many seasons, and years without his witness, yet it continued. The realization arrived softly. Enduring and returning might be the same thing. He had always thought of leaving and coming back as opposite. Departure followed by arrival. But sitting here, surrounded by the whispering leaves, he understood that both belong to the same motion, like a tide ebbing and flowing with rhythm that never ends. He traced the outline of one of the new boards, the smooth grain glowing faintly in the amber light. He thought about every place he had called home, every roof and window, every unfamiliar skyline. Each had left something behind for him to carry. Each had built upon the last in ways unseen until now. A wind picked up suddenly, curling through the trees. It rustled the young leaves with a sound like gentle applause. Tom tipped his head back and let it brush across his face. The air moved through hair and fabric, through wood and branches, soft yet sure. The fort swayed slightly, secure in the movement, alive, resilient, certain in its place. In that motion, he felt both the fragility and the strength of returning, the balance between holding on and letting go. He smiled, the expression arriving without effort. The years away, the work, the solitude, the search for meaning, they all seemed to meet here in the steady breath of this wide moment. As the sky dimmed toward twilight, a cool stillness unfurled. Fireflies began to appear near the edges of the field, small lanterns blinking among the grasses. Their light drifted upward, scattered stars finding their mirrors below. Tom watched until his eyes grew heavy. He descended the newly appointed ladder, one wooden rung at a time. Before leaving, he turned once more toward the tree. The fort looked both new and ancient, the shape of care itself, standing quietly against the encroaching dark. He felt the wind move again through the leaves, steady, tender, unbroken. And he understood, finally, that returning was never just about where you had been. It was about what you brought back with you. Peace, perhaps, and the quiet strength of remembering how to build again. The end. Breathe slowly now. Let each inhale rise like the wind through tall branches. The story you've just heard reminds us that home is never only a place. It's the calm we build inside ourselves through care, patience, and return. Each exhale is like an experience. Each memory becomes part of your shelter. Even the weathered pieces can hold strength again when tended with gentle hands. Tonight, as you rest, imagine your own quiet fort, a safe, simple space shaped by the kindness you offer yourself. Let that steadiness settle into your breath. Let it ground your body. Let it soften your mind. The wind can carry what needs to leave. Peace will stay. Good night. As this episode comes to a gentle close and the world outside grows quiet, may you find comfort within your own meditation nest. Let your mind settle softly. May tranquility wrap around you, inviting deep rest and serene dreams until dawn. If you'd like to help keep the meditation nest aglow, please consider buying me a cup of coffee by visiting ko-fi.com/BethPodcast. Every small kindness helps the light travel a little further. You can also access a free weekly blog on substack.com. Check the show notes for links. Until we meet again, rest in the quiet knowing that you are safely held by the night.